So let's dive right into this explainer. We're taking a fascinating journey today to demystify a total household staple, milk. We interact with it every single day, right? But there is this profound depth of biology, history, and pure science sitting right inside your glass. Today, we are going to unpack the whole shebang.
Here's how we'll break it down. We'll look at the ultimate nonviolent food, its composition and evolutionary history, India's White Revolution, the science of processing, busting some common milk myths, and finally, the cosmic connection. All right, part 1, the ultimate nonviolent food.
To kick things off, we actually need to completely shift how we look at our food sources. Think about it. Almost everything on our plates usually comes at the cost of another living thing. When we eat rice, we harvest and kill the plant. When we chop an onion, it cells die and release sulfuric acid, which is basically why our eyes water, kind of like the onion is crying out. Even honey, which seems completely harmless, really can't be extracted without inevitably killing some bees in the process. But milk? Milk is uniquely designed by nature to just be given. It's the very first food for every single mammal, from a tiny mouse to a massive blue whale, naturally produced to nourish without destroying the source. It literally is the ultimate nonviolent food. Moving on to Section 2, Composition and Evolutionary History. Let's see how evolution has specifically customized milk for different species. Just look at these numbers. A baby whale has to build up a thick layer of blubber incredibly fast just to survive the freezing ocean. So whale milk sits at a staggering 34 to 35% fat. And seals at the North Pole? No way, theirs is even higher, topping the charts at 53 to 54% fat for maximum survival. We humans? Well, we don't really need that kind of extreme insulation. So human breast milk is only about 4.5% fat. And here's the really cool part. Cow and buffalo milk share a remarkably similar composition to human milk. That's exactly why human civilization, as we shifted from hunting to farming, adapted to drinking it for high-quality protein. Now, this is where it gets super interesting. Ancient migration from the Central Steppes actually created a massive regional divide in lactose tolerance across India today. So, normally, mammals lose the ability to digest lactose, the main sugar in milk, as they grow up. But around 4,000 years ago, migrating populations coming into North India carried a genetic mutation that basically kept their lactase enzyme switched on. Because they mixed mainly with local populations in the north and west, about 70% of people there can easily digest milk today. But down in the south and east of India, actually about 70% of adults there cannot easily digest milk. And that is exactly why dairy culture in the south and east relies way more heavily on yogurt, or dahi, where the lactic acid bacteria have already done the hard work of breaking down the lactose for you.
Okay, Section 3, India's White Revolution. So how did milk go from local family farms to a nationwide staple in India? Well, it all started with the White Revolution, where small-scale farmers united to form cooperatives. Before 1942, dairy farmers were getting completely exploited by middlemen. These guys bought milk for pennies and sold it in cities for massive profits. But in 1942, farmers met with Sardar Patel, who pitched a game-changing idea, forming a cooperative union. The concept was simple but totally revolutionary. Farmers pull their milk, the union processes and sells it, and all the profits go straight back to the farmers. It took Dr. Verghese Kurian to brilliantly execute this vision, leading to Operation Flood. Today, massive cooperatives like Amul, Nandini, and Mother Dairy are the exact reason fresh milk reaches millions of urban homes safely every single morning. Next up, Section 4, the science of processing. Let's explore exactly what happens to that milk before it hits your fridge. You've probably seen social media influencers telling you to drink raw milk, right? Well, biologically speaking, milk is so naturally nutrient-rich that microbes reproduce in it incredibly fast. By the time raw milk travels from a farm to your table, it can become a breeding ground for dangerous pathogens. That's why these precise steps of pasteurization are absolutely crucial. You heat the milk to 72 degrees Celsius for exactly 15 seconds, and then instantly flash cool it down to 4 degrees. This temperature shock completely destroys those harmful microbes. And that viral claim that heating destroys all the nutrients? Yeah, that's just not true. You lose a tiny, negligible fraction of water-soluble vitamins, but honestly, milk was never your main source for those anyway. Eat your veggies for the vitamins and drink pasteurized milk so you don't get sick. Then we have standardization. See, cows actually produce different fat levels depending on the season. In the summer, they naturally give milk with less fat and a lower volume, but in the winter, that fat content shoots right up. If dairies didn't standardize, your morning milk would be a total guessing game. So what they do is separate the milk into cream and skim milk powder, test it, and then simply recombine it to meet exact, strict regulatory standards. No nutrients are lost, and absolutely no artificial chemicals are added. It's just ensuring consistency. And then there's homogenization and UHT processing. Homogenization is basically pushing milk through microscopic holes to break down the fat globules so they don't just float to the top. It prevents that layer of cream, or malai, from forming. It's fantastic for your daily tea or coffee. But hey, if you want thick malai for traditional sweets like rabdi, definitely avoid homogenized milk. Meanwhile, UHT, or ultra-high temperature processing, is the secret behind those shelf-stable packets you see sitting out at coffee shops. They heat the milk up to 150 degrees Celsius for just a few seconds. This makes the milk completely sterile. As long as it stays sealed in its Tetra Pak, it doesn't even need refrigeration, which is a massive logistical win. All right, Section 5, Busting Common Milk Myths. Let's get into this highly debated area and use some actual science to fact-check these viral social media claims. Does the difference between A1 and A2 milk actually matter? You've definitely seen the premium price tags on A2 milk, sometimes 4 or 5 times more expensive than regular milk. But let's look at the molecular chemistry. The reality, they differ by literally a single amino acid. A1 has histidine and A2 has proline. That's it. In fact, strictly speaking, A1 milk doesn't even really exist because regular milk naturally contains both A1 and A2 beta-casein proteins. Oh, and fun fact, all buffalo milk is naturally A2 anyway. This whole narrative that A1 is only from foreign cows and A2 is some ancient magical Indian trait, it's really just a marketing trick. A2 milk actually originated in places like southern France. Ultimately, your body handles both proteins perfectly well. If you feel A2 digests a bit better for you, that's awesome, but please don't let marketing tactics panic you. Regular milk is perfectly safe for your family. Here's another terrifying claim that goes viral a lot online. Do the hormones in packet milk cause early puberty in young girls? The biological facts tell a completely different story. Think of it like this. If a lion hunts and eats a pregnant goat, the goat's pregnancy hormones do absolutely zero to the lion. Why? Because hormones are strictly species-specific. Cattle hormones do not affect humans. Plus, human stomach acid immediately denatures or destroys these hormone proteins the second we digest them anyway. The real reason girls globally are reaching puberty between the ages of 9 and 11 is actually a positive thing: much better overall nutrition. When a human body has proper fat reserves and isn't stressed by undernourishment, it hits these milestones sooner. It literally has nothing to do with milk hormones. And what about food combinations? Influencers love to claim that combining milk with fish or meat is somehow toxic, often twisting Ayurveda to scare you. But culinary traditions across the globe prove otherwise. From Indian marinades to long-living Italians, mixing these foods is totally safe. In Bengal, doi mach, which is fish cooked directly in yogurt, is a beloved traditional staple. Down in South India, eating a spicy fish fry right alongside cooling curd rice is super common. And look at the French and Italians. They're famous for their long lifespans, and they constantly pair creamy milk-based white sauces with rich meats. The fact is, your digestive system is a remarkably robust chemical processing plant. Unless you personally have a specific allergy, your body handles these combinations perfectly well. You really don't need to fear your favorite recipes. Finally, Section 6, the cosmic connection. Let's zoom out from the microscopic science for a second and look at something a bit more philosophical. Did you know the ancient Greek word for milk was galactose? And that is literally the root word for our very own galaxy. Whether it's the Sanskrit Kshisagar, the mythological ocean of milk from which the nectar of immortality emerged, or the Roman Via Lactea, ancient cultures universally connected the stars above to the milk that sustains us down here. They looked up at the night sky, saw that dense band of stars, and just imagined a giant river of milk stretching right across the universe. We start life sustained by milk, and eventually we end it among the stars of the Milky Way. We've traced this liquid from its evolutionary perfection and historical revolutions all the way to the molecular truth behind its processing. It really is a testament to biology and human ingenuity. But, as science now allows us to synthetically create dairy proteins in a lab without even needing the cow, it begs the ultimate question: what will our cosmic connection to this life-giving liquid look like 100 years from now?